Okay, welcome back. My name's TantalUs. I'll be speedrunning this game this year at Summer Games Quick. This is the Zoda's Revenge Startropics 2 speedrun guide. Today we're going to cover Chapter 7 in its entirety here. It's just a dungeon for the most part, so we'll go ahead and get started right into it. A couple buffer text boxes, and we're back into things. If you haven't watched the other episodes in the speedrunning guide, I highly recommend watching them from the beginning. Make sure you cover all the mechanics. But we're going to get right into the dungeon here. We're going to go ahead and freeze frame right there. So from here, you're going to hold diagonal up right off the bat. And you walk right in here. One thing I want to cover real quick is if you do play this game, like if you don't have save states like I do, and you're playing with using review mode, review mode does start you with 5 hearts, whereas the original dungeon will start you with your full health, your full complement of health. So it's very, very important that if you're playing review mode, that you kind of prepare yourself for a normal situation. You can pick these hearts up and then just leave the dungeon and come back and get them again if you want to reset that way, if you're trying to practice this in review mode. Some of the other areas like Chapter 5 aren't as easy to do in that manner, so just work with it as best you can if you don't have access to save states or an emulator or something. Alright, so we're going to the first main area with enemies here. These are the Frankenstein Monsters. I actually don't know if that's what they're called. And these guys are a little finicky. You hit them and they turn into pants. Now, what you're going to do, you'll see they kind of go all over the place, right? They finish moving to the tile that they're walking to before they transform. So it's always a little bit better to try and hit them mid-tile and then set up kind of what they're going to do, because they usually walk the direction they're facing first. So you might be able to set up the 3 hits that way. But they do kind of walk all over, and sometimes they can get away from you. See, that one I was able to get. See, he finished walking to his tile first. And then this one kind of got away from me a little bit. It's not uncommon for that to happen. So just work on that, practice it, you get it through. Now what you're going to do here is just hold diagonal upright all the way to about right here. And you're going to wait for the enemies to spawn up. Whoops. And I want to go safe. I want to load state on that because there's a couple of reasons why. Okay, so right here, you're going to walk diagonal up. And you're going to go right to this spot, because the ghost order is... You saw that one was pretty close to me, right? Let's try it again. The pink ghost will always be up here in this spot if you walk here. But the rest of the ghosts are kind of random. And that's what I wanted to show you. If you get that particular pattern, the ghost chases you. So you're going to have to move as you hit the pink ghosts. The other ghosts are not hittable. You can't kill them. You can only kill the pink ghost. And this is the only room you care about. If you are unfamiliar with the game, there is if you kill these enemies here, you'll get a medicine in that room. But you don't really need to do that. Now, before you go in this room, you want to have the Super Psychic Shockwave equipped. Whoops, I messed it up. I'm going to do this just to make sure I get my state set. So you're going to come in like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Jump 1, 2, 3, 4. Every time, that will always work. Let's do it again. Diagonal up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. What happens is, if you shoot upright first, if you come in facing that direction, you don't even need to change your direction. If you don't come in facing upright, which you probably won't, you'll probably come in facing this way. You can just turn your direction and use the weapon to stop you from moving too far. Sort of like this. You're going to come in. I'll come in from that direction, and then I'll just boom, 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 boom. Now sometimes that green guy will charge you if he sees you. The third one that you shoot straight. Sometimes he doesn't, and you can miss the 4th shot. So just be aware of that. But most of the time, that'll work exactly that way every time. So we'll do it one more time. 4 shots up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, these guys you cannot hit with the katana. Now here, I'm going to save state here. This is going to be a preference. This is the Rip Ghost. I like to use katana, but some people may be more comfortable with the Super Psychic Shockwave. They could both kill him about the same speed. This is a much more powerful weapon, but this shoots a lot faster. So because this ghost is a little bit special, you may prefer one or the other. You can only hit him from the side that, from the 3 sides that aren't his face. So you can't hit him face on. You've got to hit him from the side or from the back on his tombstone. That makes this ghost a little bit difficult. One thing that you can do to manipulate it and work it out is to get him kind of in a corner. If he's against a wall, he obviously cannot go up. He can only go left, right, or down. And that makes his movements more limited so that you can pin him down. So I'll do this a couple times to demonstrate how we're going to go through it. So I like to just kind of go up this way and see which way he goes. He also, when he gets hit, guarantees to shoot you, and then he'll move. So you can see he won't move in the same direction he shoots. That's the thing you can count on. So if he's facing you to shoot, he will move some other direction other than that, as far as my experience goes. So we'll do this a couple times. You can see he kind of moves all over the place. I get 1, 2, 1, 2. And there he did stay in the direction he's facing, so I guess that's not a guarantee, but I guess it's common in my experience. Alright, so he kind of moved 1, 2, 1, 2. Now he's against the wall. So I just set that up really easily, and that made it really simple. There, he's going to go up the wall again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So 6 katana shots. If you wanted to use the Psychic Shockwave, you could. I don't like to, but you can do it the same way. So it's easier to count 6 shots for me. That's why I do the katana. How many hits is it with this? I actually don't know. You get 3 hits in, and so it works the same way, right? You 9 hits of this, or 6 hits of this. Either way, it works out. So this one takes a little bit of practice and can send your run in a tizzy. It's more important that you maintain your health rather than trying to kill him fast. So don't be really aggressive and start taking damage because you were going aggressive here. Now what you're going to do here, we used to not pick this item up, but you're going to try and go down here. So your goal is to ride the arrows, just like I just did. You're going to stay on the top and see the arrows kind of take you right to that point, and then you're going to make 2 jumps to land on this block. This is optimal, and it's very important to be optimal here. Then once you get this item, you're gonna try and just work your way into the hole. You'll have to feel this one out. When you fall in the hole, you're gonna hold down right. The reason we hold down right is so that we can only turn 1 time going into the door there. So let's go through this again. You're gonna ride the tile down. And the item we're picking up is called the three-way shot. It's very powerful, but it has a low rate of fire. So what we're going to do is we're going to use it to save time on killing the bats. It is going to be helpful for some of the enemies we'll be facing. So I'll go ahead and do that. And you turn up 1 time. So if you don't hold down right when you fall in that black hole, you'll keep falling in that hole repeatedly. So if for some reason you do fall in the hole there, just keep falling in the hole until you see the arrow room again, and then hold down right again. For here, you're going to equip the 3-way shot and just blast through the bats. Now, if you use the katana or the Super Psychic Shockwave, it's 2 hits on the bats, as you can see. But that's why we use the 3-way shot. You can also hit multiple bats at once. Now, what I'm going to show you here is another Void Walk skip. I don't recommend this if you are fresh at learning here. But we're going to do another diagonal jump boost here. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk in the door from the bottom point of the room. And it will take us to the next screen, and then we're going to do a buffered input. So when we hop in the next screen, we're going to do this. And that sets us up on the right pixel so that we can take a damage boost. So what is this? What did I just do? I'll try to demonstrate really quick. So when you come in the room, you're going to buffer a jump up shot and then hold left after. So And that's not it. So let's see. Let me actually do it. Maybe that'll be easier to demonstrate. Whoops. Some art. So that sets me on the right pixel to get the damage boost. Now, I didn't do the setup there, but I was hoping it would show off the pixel part if I got lucky, but it's okay. So what we'll do next, I'm going to show it to you one more time. So jump up A, B. There, and that's the void walk. Now, that's a pretty hard void walk to do. It's guaranteed. It will work every time if you do it. There's no restriction here. But yeah, you're gonna buffer A, B, up, and right. And then what we're doing there is we're using the super. We have to switch to the psychic shockwave while we're doing that input. That's the tricky part about this skip. On a keyboard, it might be a little bit easier if you're playing on emulator, but what we're doing is we have to switch to the psychic shockwave so that we can hit the zombie. And when we hit the zombie, we are buffering a pause so that we can determine our damage frame. Again, when you do a void walk, you've got to get hit on the frame that it doesn't check if you're dead. So by doing, or sorry, the frame that it does check if you're dead. So by inflicting damage on the zombie, pause buffering, jumping, and pause buffering again, we set ourselves on the right frame. And in fact, I can demonstrate this even perfectly, because if I do the first pause, whoops, I will die every time. I'll never touch the zombies. So that can demonstrate that if you don't do the second pause, you'll die every time. Now, I guess if you're feeling really clever, you could probably do, and see, you don't know what frame you're on when you do it that way. So this is a hard skip to do, but the inputs are simple, but you can see how I have to flip the controller a little bit to make it work. So I'm going to do jump up B, I'm going to turn left, and then I do that. Now the trickiest thing here, honestly, is when you turn left, turning up without moving a pixel. Because if you move up one pixel after you face up to shoot, then you're going to be off and the skip won't work. So it is a rather technical skip, but it will work every time if you do it that way. The only other thing I should say is the best way to fire your weapon, so like when I'm jumping left, is to buffer it. Now I buffer tighted. So you have to see, if you do this, you're gonna mess it up. So you can't fire early. So you jump up. It does require some very specific timing, but it always works. Now, what should you do if you're not going to do that skip? There's a couple things that you can do. First of all, you're going to come in the door on this corner instead of coming in on. You'll come in with the super psychic equipped, so you switch back from the throughway to the super psychic. You have a couple ways to go about this. Obviously, if you do the skip, you're going to guarantee to take damage. Here, you can either just go for it and just hope that the zombies aren't too bad in your way. You can see I got hit twice there. So if you did that, you're going to get hit twice anyway, which I would in the skip normally anyway. You could, if you want to play it safe or you're low in health, double kill them and then just go right through like that. You could kill one. This is what we used to do. And then one is usually easy to manage. Usually you can say, all right. And see, I actually walked into him, but because I'm not used to dealing with it. But you can usually get away if you're crafty with your jumping. You can usually get away without getting hit if you kill one of them. So, as a beginner strat, I would say killing one of them is probably the simplest. Just walking on the tiles. And if you see that, you can try to, like, if they get close to you. So let's say you kill this one. I usually like to kill the one farther, but You can try to kill the second one on a jump, which doesn't cost you any time to do because it only takes 4 hits to kill them. So there's a couple ways to manage this room. I'll do the void ult one more time for demonstration. Oh, well, I didn't realize I had the wrong weapon equipped. Actually, this might work. Oh, I have to press select twice. So it would work if I remembered to press select twice, but I've got a muscle memory for this. There, I only got hit once. So, okay. So now we're at the Frankenstein's Bride. So this enemy also is another varying enemy, like the Sorcerer we're going to come up against, and the other the Rip Ghost, on how you want to do it. I do like to use the super shockwave on this enemy. Unless they're in the corner, then I like to use the 3-way shot. But he's going to drop bombs and then move a set direction. And then he's going to stop. So what you want to do is anticipate where they're going to stop and then wail on him. So he always does it after so many tile moves. And so you want to set yourself up so that you are able to anticipate his movement. Now, if he goes in the corner like that, then you can use the 3-way shot, because the 3-way shot has terrible rapid rate of fire unless it all hits the wall, and then you can deck him. And that's why I said if he's in the corner or against the wall. But you can see even if it's a little bit off and I can't keep firing the 3-way shot, it starts to cost time. So if you're just looking for consistency, you could probably work on using the Katana or the Super Psychic Shockwave. If you want to get aggressive, you can work on the 3-way shot. But you do want to have the 3-way shot equipped coming into this room. So let's go ahead and go through this room. The bats. This is just bats. Try to line up double shots like that. That's always great. If you can. If you can't, just kill them each one at a time. It's not a big deal. Here, yeah, don't kill these guys because then they get all over the place. So just go ahead, grab your hearts. It's kind of easy to pick it up on the way, and just walk around. Now, here's the Sorcerer. So what happens is he drops these little balls, and if you hit them, they come zipping at you like that. We want to try to not hit them. So what you're going to try and do, if you know you're going to hit them, then try to jump shoot him, because you can still connect jump shots on the Sorcerer, even though, you know, you're in the air. He still is able to be hit, but also, you won't hit the balls. You'll shoot over the balls. So that's usually the best strategy. And then, you know, it's pretty easy to dodge it. Now, some people might prefer the Katana. I definitely don't recommend 3-way shot here, regardless of the situation. But in general, that's how you handle this guy. If you do know you're going to hit an orb, you know, try to get out of the way like that. See, if you know he's going to drop one, then just stop firing for a minute or be ready to jump. Like that. So that's how you end a Sorcerer. It can take a lot of damage, but it usually doesn't cost you a ton of time. All right, going into this room, you're just going to walk up here, jump on the tile, just like that. You walk around and get your hearts for free. I usually don't kill any of them. If they get really, like, if I have to go way out of the way to dodge them, then maybe it's worth it to kill one. But usually I don't kill these enemies. You want to go into the next room with your 3-way shot equipped. So I'm gonna reload and just show what I would do here. Do it one more time. Walk around. And see, sometimes I got a little too close there. So I'm gonna try and do it with no damage. It can turn back on you. So 3-way shot equipped, and then more bats. So right there. All right, so this is the second Frankenstein's Bride fight. That was the best possible RNG I could possibly gotten. So, which is great. I think I think the RNG's set. So you have a couple options. If he starts to wander on you, which he might. There we go. All right, it came right back to me. Yeah, if you got patterns like that every time, you'd be great. But sometimes he'll start going over the gaps, and you can't reach him. You can see if he comes to me, I'm able to handle it pretty well. Let's see if I hold up. Oh. Yeah, I was seeing if the RNG is completely input based, but it doesn't seem to be. So here, I'll just let you look. He can move over the gaps while you can't. So it gets a little tricky. This one might be a better for the Katana, since you only have to get a few hits in rather than getting a bunch of stray Super Psychic Shockwave shots in. Again, if he does get in the corner, you can kill them pretty quickly with a 3-way shot, but it's not always the easiest thing to do. There we go. This is kind of a nasty pattern. See, if I want to kill him without taking damage, without risking my sanity, you know, it's better not to take damage if you can help it, but don't rush that kill. Just get it as it comes to you. The next room, you're going to come in with the 3-way shot equipped. And you're going to try and get as many of these bats as you can. Now, before you go to the boss, there's 2 things to know about this room. Down here spawns medicine, and up here spawns hearts. So you can always pick them up. The hearts are way faster. It actually doesn't even cost you 2 seconds to get it. It's 1, and then you're good. It's like 1.5 seconds. So if you are down on health, it's always worth it to get the hearts. You almost never would skip the hearts unless you're less than 2 hearts down. So even 1.5 hearts is still worth it. 1 heart or half a heart down, then maybe not. But I don't think you could even be in half a heart down. Well, I guess it's possible, but unlikely. You'd have had to heal it earlier in the dungeon. Now, if you're really low on health, grab this, because you want to make sure you do not lose the Super Psychic Shockwave before you go into the boss room. So I'll do this again. Sometimes you can even get 3 of them with like that. And that's like perfect. You get that perfect. Grab the hearts, and then we'll go into the boss. Super Psychic Shockwave for this. No other alternatives. Alright, this is Zoda Y. Now, Zoda Y is uniquely challenging because he's got 2 phases. He's got a slow phase where he spits out bats and does a beam at you. He can appear in 1 of 4 spots. He can on the top row. So I'm gonna save state right here. He can appear here. He can appear here. He can appear here, and he can appear here. So what you want to try and do is line it up so that you can hit him on an angle. You do not want to shoot him straight on, because the bats will spawn and you'll kill the bats, and it will delay you from being able to hit him. So we want to hit him diagonal so we don't have to stop shooting him. If you kill 1 bat on each time, you can 2-cycle him. You can get a 2-cycle phase 1, and then phase 2 will go over. So we're just going to spend this time going over phase 1. So the spikes will come up. I'm going to move around and try to get this diagonal line up. And you can see I actually jumped there to make sure I don't hit the bat. And then, okay, so, all right, and that's a 2-cycle. So that's good. We'll do it again. He'll probably spawn in the same spot this time. It's probably already, nope, it's not. So I've got to move out of the way to shoot him diagonal. And I might not get a 2-cycle this time because of that. Now, when he spawns in the middle 2 slots that I showed you there's 4 possible options. If he goes in one of the 2 middle spots, then he'll be on one of the 2 end spots. If he's in one of the 2 end spots, he'll be one of the 2 middle spots. He always alternates between them. He'll never do the same one twice, you know, either ends or middle twice in a row. And see, I did not get the 2-cycle there. So I've got maybe like 2 hits left. I had a lot more than 2. Okay. So that was a 3-cycle fight. You know, because the first cycle wasn't good. The biggest thing there is not letting the bats run you over. You can kill the first bat and then kind of try to get out of the way of the second bat. Keep hitting Zoda until he disappears and then kill the second bat. That's my recommendation if you can help it. But sometimes you can't help it. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Sometimes the bats also go out to the direction you're not facing. So then you want to kill the bats while they fade and then wait for them to spawn. And that's an easy 2-cycle there. That was a good pattern. So that's phase 1. So let's talk about phase 2. What do you do in phase 2? So what you're going to do is line yourself up as far away as you can diagonally and just start wailing. And he's going to lurch around shooting bats at you for a little bit. And eventually, he's going to come hunting for you until he sees you. Now, until he sees you straight on, and he's going to raise his wings. When he raises his wings, what you need to do is do not be diagonal of him. You need to be straight on of Zoda Y here. If you're on diagonals, this strat will be very hard to do. But what you're going to do to kill him is he's going to start shooting feathers straight down at you when you're in his direct vertical line. And you're going to jump and shoot him while you jump over the feathers. This is a little bit... It's actually trickier than it... Sorry. It sounds trickier than it is. You're just going to visual cue the feathers and jump over them. And you're going to keep shooting him, which keeps him in hit stun. It slows his attack down and lets you get this in one cycle if you're quick enough. So... See, I jumped in place for 2 of those, and then I jumped forward a little bit. And you're going to have to jump forward a little bit because he's also blowing wind. So when he blows wind, you actually do move down towards the spikes. That's what makes the spikes a threat in this fight. Otherwise, there'd be no point for them to be there. So you will have to jump forward a little bit, but once you get a feel for jumping over the feathers, it's a lot easier than it looks. Alright, so he starts jumping when he's hunting for you, and then you can see I was able to jump over the feathers pretty easily. The only tricky part is making sure you don't jump into the void. If you jump in the hole, you die, and it's extremely penalizing. So we'll do this one more time. And just keep throwing shots. Get as many hits in as I can before he starts hunting. Alright, so he is hunting. And you can see, because I started off the cycle diagonal, it was completely ruined. I did slow him down a lot. Now he's going to hunt for me again in a second. And you can repeat the same strategy once he hunts for you. Now you're going to walk over here. You're going to be real pro. As soon as you can do this. I don't recommend doing that for a first timer, though. You can just wait for the block to come up. It only saves like 2 frames to do what I do. So... walk on the block when it appears, and then make your way over. Again, it's more important that you don't get mowed over by these bats. You need to keep the bats clear when he does have the feathers. If the bats are still out when this happens, then it gets really hairy. So your first priority is clearing the bats, and then your second priority is nailing him. So you need to make sure you do that, and then you can just walk over, and that's the dungeon. You can walk diagonal up here, and we'll go pick up our tetrad. So this whole chapter is just one really long dungeon. It is a really fun level, and it's one of the most fun levels in the game, in my opinion. Fortunately, this game, after Chapter 6, I feel like every dungeon gets better after it, except for 8-1, which we'll go over on the next episode. So, again, this is one of the more penalizing tetrad health refills. If you are low on health here, it's pretty bad. Also, if you lose your Super Psychic Shockwave on Zoda Y there, it is very penalizing. You do not want to have that happen. The room before, like I said, has the medicine, has the 2 hearts, so you can at least get 7 hearts back. If you're still alive, that means you have at least 7.5 hearts. So you should be able to work your way through some of it. Take your time on that one and work your way through it. So, and that's Chapter 7. So on the next episode, we will cover Chapter 8. I'll probably cover it. I'll probably cover it in 2 episodes. I'll probably cover the first dungeon, and then we'll cover the second dungeon. The second dungeon is going to be a really long coverage like this one was. So until then, take care.